According to the Pew Forum, approximately 1 in 3 Americans were raised Catholic, although only 1 in 4 adults identify themselves as Catholic today. Numbers like this might suggest that Americans are becoming disillusioned with the Catholic Church, an institution often criticized for being out of touch with today's younger generations.
We've seen over the last, probably over the last 30, 40 years, the trend has been towards guys who are a little bit older, older vocations, coming out of college, maybe have worked for a few years or even more than a few years, and then entering into seminary. What we're seeing now is a trend towards younger guys and towards younger seminarians, and it's not just for us here locally in the Archdiocese, but we're seeing it, my peers across the country are seeing increase in college seminary numbers, numbers of guys coming out straight out of high school and entering the seminary.
I'm Michael Mazie from Cincinnati, Ohio, studying at Marian University and Bishop Simon Brute College Seminary, and I am a seminarian for the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. We'll spend 4 years here at Bishop Brute, and then once I'm done graduating, I will go to Mount St. Mary's Seminary of the West for 5 years, and then hopefully be ordained in May of 2019. So I will be about 28 years old by the time this process, if this is God's will, is over with.
Hello, my name is Matt Reichers. I'm a seminarian from the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. I'm currently studying at the Pontifical College Josephinum, studying both philosophy and humanities. When I was younger, I wanted to be an Air Force pilot. But then later on, I decided, I was thinking to myself, what can I do to help the greatest number of people? So I thought about maybe being a medical doctor or something of that sort, or an engineer. But then I thought, ultimately, the best thing I could do is to help people get to heaven.
Ever since I was little, I always thought about becoming a priest. That was something I felt called to do. Even at a young age, I always went around, going around my house, my sister and I would pretend we were Jesus and Mary. Even as a little kid in school, I was very much interested in going to the religion store and getting religion books or coloring books about Jesus or Jonah or people from the Bible. And so when other kids wanted to go to the toy store, I was the kid that wanted to go to the religion store.
So that's always the first question I ask is, how did you get to this point where you're talking to a vocation director about going to the priesthood? And in listening to that question, you want to hear something about a sense of being called, that it's not just something that young man wants to do, but it's something that he feels like God has placed on his heart.
When I was a kid, they saw it coming. They were like, oh, that's cute for Michael to think that, or whatever else. But then as I became more serious about it, especially in high school, it was something that was becoming a part of me. So when I brought it up to my parents, my dad was very supportive of the decision. He was fine with it as long as I was doing whatever made me happy. But it took my mom a while to realize that this is what God was calling me to.
There wasn't one time where I just kind of like spilled the beans, as it were. I just kind of, we were just talking about it, and it was kind of a natural thing. And I just kind of raised the question, and they said that'd be perfectly fine. We're proud of you no matter what you do. So there wasn't any big revelation, I don't think.
Most of the time, yes. Most of the time I find that the parents are very supportive and very honored that one of their sons has either chosen or responded to a call to the vocation to the priesthood. And when that's the case, it makes it much easier on the guy.
I don't know where Stanford is. I've never been to California.
So if you've never been somewhere, then you don't know where it is?
A lot of places. I mean, what does it really matter?
So since you've never been to Paris, you don't know where Paris is?
No, I don't know.
Oh, that's in Germany, isn't it?
It's in France. Where's France?
Good question.
A lot of people think that we spend a lot of time in prayer, or we're always praying, or we're being all holy and whatnot. But it's hard for people to grasp that we're just like normal people. We like to go out during the weekends. We like to go out, see a movie, or we'll go out to dinner, or we'll go just downtown, take a walk, go get ice cream, something like that. We'll come back, we'll watch movies, we'll talk. Play games, and some of the guys like to go around at night and play Nerf wars. They'll go around with 15 guys, will go around and use one of our bells and just run around the seminary trying to catch each other or whatnot. I think it's important for people to realize that we like to do fun things as well.
Well, I mean, we do pretty much what everyone else would do for fun. I mean, we play sports, video games, watch TV. I mean, There's nothing, but we're not always, cloistered in the chapel. Weekends we typically will have various competitions or tournaments going on. So pretty much what anyone else would do for fun, we pretty much do.
Since the end of the Second Vatican Council, the United States has seen a significant decrease in numbers of Catholic priests, from 58,000 in 1965 to nearly 38,000 in 2012. This decrease is even more drastic considering the huge increase in the United States population.
The application process was actually more rigorous than I thought. I figured, with the shortage of vocations, they kind of want to just usher us in, but it was actually quite lengthy. There was a lot of references I had to do, a lot of different background checks, psychological evaluation, and everything, which ultimately I think is a very good idea because, you want to make sure that anyone applying to the seminary has a level head and isn't have psychological issues or anything of that sort.
So the screening process, it's we want to get a picture of who that man is as he's coming into the seminary. Are there any major red flags that we need to be aware of? Any major concerns as he enters into seminary formation that we need to work on? And it's with every guy has something that's there to work on to sort of develop and kind of overcome either past histories or past faults or failings. And so it's the seminary process is trying to bring that process through and kind of walking with that process.
I've had a few doubts, what would it be like to become married or have a different vocation? And I think that's part of what seminary is about. I think a lot of seminary is discerning one's call. So it's not as if once you sign the papers to the seminary that you're locked in. You're not locked in until you say the vows, essentially.
When I started out freshman year, I had one of my real good friends leave, and so that was very challenging for me to get through that because I had felt that he was called to be a priest, and here he was called to something else. It made me question, if he's not supposed to be a priest, why am I called to this? What am I doing here? I'm no better than he is. And but I came to realize you can't base your vocation off of one person. Everybody has their own vocation in life, and not everybody in here who's in the seminary is going to become a priest. And so they have to follow where God wants them, and that might not be my decision. That's up to God's will.
It's a lifelong process, and I think you ask a married couple as well that's a daily process of choosing the other, and growing deeper in love with the other. As a priest, it's the same thing of growing deeper in love with the church, and the seminary takes that time to help form that heart that's ready to say yes.
In marriage, so you give yourself completely and fully to the other person. In the priesthood, you give yourself completely, selflessly, sacrificially to the church and to her people. To give myself fully and completely to other people who need me, I think I can do that. I think that's what God wants me to do. It's a special vocation that not everybody can embrace, but I think people should be open to that call to a selfless love for other people and for the church.
I'm just like a normal person. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. I'm not anything special. We're just normal people that the Lord chooses to use as His instruments. So right now, I still think it's what God wants me to do, but it could change.